Hey folks, today I'm going to talk about the four attitudes, the four mental, spiritual, emotional, and even psychological attitudes that women need to have or embrace in order to enjoy thriving and meaningful businesses. So if you're an independent businesswoman, a creative, or a solopreneur, this video is definitely for you. We're going to also use our tarot cards to help us to understand some of these principles. The first attitude is embracing the understanding that things are cyclical. You see, meaningful business and meaningful work is cyclical, just like the moon. Women already have such a deep and personal and intimate appreciation of the fact that things are cyclical. We have a menstrual cycle, so we intuitively understand that things happen in phases and in cycles. So the idea is to really bring this cellular, physical understanding of the phase nature of things to our businesses. So as women, we need to kind of match up what our bodies know on an intuitive and intimate level and bring that stuff to how we come to and approach our businesses. And of course, the archetype that represents this feminine cyclical nature in the tarot is the moon archetype. It's the moon card. So to embrace the cyclical and phase nature of business is to understand, for example, that clients and customers will ebb and flow. Things will wax and wane. Some products or services may do better at certain times of the year in comparison to other times of the year. To embrace this cyclical nature of business is to also allow yourself to, or give yourself permission to put certain ideas and projects on the back burner while you give your energy and effort and attention to other things, rather than trying to apply energy in an equal measure to everything at once. We're taught to embrace this very masculine, very linear way of doing business, that you're constantly just progressing toward this goal in a very linear step-by-step fashion. But I'm saying to you women that give yourself permission to work much more in a cyclical way, where you're not afraid to not be applying effort to every single thing at once. It's okay to have certain projects and ideas on the back burner while you think about and you apply your energy to other things. So those things that are in the background are actually taking time to seed. It's about really embracing the wisdom of timing, that in due course and in the most appropriate way, what was on the back burner will definitely come into the foreground at the appropriate time. It's much more about learning how to use your energy effectively, and that's what the moon is trying to get us to understand. That's what this natural, innate, cyclical nature that's encoded into the female body, that's what this understanding wants to try to impart to us, that it's about using your intuition to figure out what things need my attention. Do I need to act on this idea right now, or can it stay there, just germinating, just taking time to form in my mind, in my subconscious, while I attend my conscious effort to some other things? I don't know if you've ever had the experience of having an idea, and for some reason, it's not that you're procrastinating, it's just that you decided that I have it fully formed in my mind, but I'm not going to act on it just yet. You just know, some part of your being already understands that it just needs more time, and that perhaps the right connections, the right people who are needed to get that idea or project off the ground are going to come into your reality a few months later, or perhaps the information that you need is going to be coming to you later on down the line. So the moon is just saying, really just embrace that cyclical phase nature of things, and don't be afraid to not try to do everything all at once. Use your intuition. So to embrace this cyclical and phase nature of business is to understand when to apply effort, when to withdraw effort. It's also to understand and become friends with the principles of contraction and expansion. Now, these principles are your friends. Become friends with these principles, these natural principles of waxing and waning, expansion and contraction. The second attitude that women need to embrace is what I call the Uranian attitude. And in astrology, Uranus is the energy of the innovator. It's a very inventive, innovative, and also independent energy. It wants to disturb the status quo, and it does things very differently, very uniquely, and also it does things in a very original fashion. So that's Uranus. So many businesswomen are already familiar with this kind of Uranian independence that need to do things differently, to kind of maybe even hop off the 9-to-5, to not be in a conventional working environment. And that energy perhaps can be represented by the Fool, right? The Fool is the boldness to be original and to depart from convention and to make it up as you go along. The Fool archetype does feed into that Uranian type of energy. But even as Uranus is independent, it really asks us to work with the fact that we are laying a path for ourselves. It's asking us to learn to work with the unexpected. And because we are laying a path for ourselves, there is no precedent. So even if you're doing a business that somebody else has done, or a similar business, it's still your business. It's not anybody else's business, and therefore it is unique to you, and it's going to have its own challenges, and it's going to have its own unique path. The archetype, of course, that plays into this energy of things being unexpected is the Tower card. So in embracing the Uranian attitude, we need to embrace as solopreneurs, as women in business, the fact that things are unexpected. To qualify to sit down with Uranus and enjoy doing groundbreaking, new independent stuff, to enjoy the independence of a meaningful business, we also have to learn to flow with the changeability, the unexpected nature of this planetary energy that's Uranus. So it's much more about learning to embrace Uranus and not be afraid of what that planet represents. Learn to embrace it. Learn to embrace the fact perhaps that even financially you may have to learn to deal with a much more sporadic kind of income, for example, that maybe your income is not the usual paycheck, but learning to make that work for you rather than trying to impose the expected onto your business. The third attitude that women need to embrace in order to enjoy meaningful work and thriving business is learning to work from the inside out. What tends to happen, of course, is that in the business world, in the solopreneur world, in the independent consultant world, we're taught how to market, we're taught how to do social media, but we're not really taught how to work on a spiritual and energetic level to thrive in our businesses. So the third thing is just putting back that focus on the inside. So it's about a management of your energetic resources. So embracing the moon archetype, embracing the Uranian attitude, those are energetic adjustments. Those are ways of working from the inside out. So what I'm really doing is just isolating this inside out approach as my third attitude. And two archetypes in the tarot really come to mind here. The first is the High Priestess, and she is pointing us to this energetic level that we need to be working on, the spiritual and energetic level that we need to be working on as we bring our attention to the inside. The second archetype that comes to mind is the Queen of Wands, and she symbolizes the empowerment that comes from a kind of mastery of the principle of working from the inside out. The fourth attitude that women need to embrace in order to thrive in their businesses is actually a consequence or an outcrop of the first three. If you embrace the cyclical nature of things, if you are working with the unexpected, and if you learn how to work from the inside out, it means that you become much more centered and you become much more strategic and much more resilient. And these attributes are attributes of our Queen of Swords. She's very clear, very calm, and is not freaked out when things are kind of going up and down, when things are waxing and waning, and when things that are unexpected come in front of her path, or come into her path, I should say. She's not freaked out. There's a kind of centeredness, a kind of calm, resilient, strategicness that the Queen of Swords has, that as women in business we also need to embrace. But you get to the Queen of Swords, you get to that very calm, centered, mentally clear place when you've embraced 1, the cycles, 2, the unexpected, and 3, when you really learn to manage your own inner, emotional, and spiritual resources. So are you a solopreneur? Are you an independent businesswoman? If so, what attitudes could you cultivate on an inner level to thrive in your business and have more meaningful work? Leave me a comment below, and thanks for watching. Until next time, bye.